Nigeria's Security and Exchange Commission held its annual investment forum marking 50 years of capital market regulation in Nigeria. Wole Famurewa caught up with Daisy Ekineh, Commissioner of Operations at the SEC, and asked what the SEC was doing to encourage locals to invest in the market.
The retail, obviously, because of what happened in 2008, are quite hot. Many of them are still apprehensive about the market, and I think it's just natural for them to feel that way because they've lost a lot of money. But what the regulators are doing is to build confidence in the market, making sure that enforcement is very strong, so that some of the unethical practices we saw in the past, we're not going to see them again. And in that area, we've strengthened our rules. We've strengthened our enforcement, we've strengthened our monitoring, we've strengthened investigation. Today we've got a comprehensive complaint management framework. We are also doing a lot of enlightenment just to let the investors know that a lot of things have been put in place. We do understand the fact that they've lost money. But if you look at the fundamentals of the companies today, most of the companies, we've seen their results, they've done very, very well. And it's because investors are apprehensive and so they are not coming in. But the foreign investors see value in the Nigerian economy and so they are coming. They are seeing value in the stock market and they are coming. And what we tell the retail investors in particular, and in fact including the institutional investors, is that, look, the foreigners are seeing quite a lot. Don't leave the train. Don't let the train pass you by. You also have to invest in Nigeria. The fundamentals are strong. Regulation is better than what it used to be, and so, they have to just come. And if you even look at enlightenment that we do, because if investors don't know, then they don't come. But we're enlightening them to let them understand that a lot of things are being done. And we're also trying to catch, students. And that's why in today's event, you will see some students attending. We catch them young so that they start building, the habit of investing because it's important.
All right, the final word, at least final question for me, a quick point that I want you to touch on, that is the future for the capital market. And obviously we've seen quite a lot of modernization up to this point. You've also talked about moves to improve corporate governance, etc. But one of the things that I've seen the DG being fairly outspoken about is the fact that Nigeria should no longer be a frontier market, that it should move onto an emerging market classification. What are your thoughts on how we're going to make that transition and the role of the SEC in making that transition?
I think it's very important, because if you look at the Nigerian economy, it's one of the largest in Africa, second largest in sub-Saharan Africa. So I don't see any reason why we can't make that move to becoming an emerging market rather than a frontier market. And in doing that, most of the things I enumerated are things that we're doing to ensure that we bring in, move Nigeria from where it is, the frontier market, to the emerging market. We're trying to bring in new listings into the market, the oil and gas. The telecoms. We've got big telecom companies in Nigeria today, and they are not listed. They ought to list. We've got oil and gas companies that are not listed, but are listed elsewhere. They ought to list. Issues of corporate governance, issues of disclosure, transparency, we are working on it, and we've done quite a lot of rule changes that we have introduced. On the whole, about 63 rule changes in the last 2.5 years we have introduced on the market. And that has made the Nigerian market a much stronger market, a market where investors could confidently invest, believing that their investments are safe. Yeah, market vagaries would always come in, situations would happen to make markets go down, but they would also rise. We see that also in developed economies. But for people to be taken for granted, I think that's one thing that the SEC, is making sure that does not happen. We're trying to strengthen, all the institutions that are in the capital market, the broker, the issuing houses, the fund managers, and professionalism to us is very, very key. And we will make sure that, we institute professionalism. We've actually done that, but just to strengthen it in our market.